Hey, what's going on, everyone? We're going to continue with practicing skies here in acrylic. This is watercolor paper, acid free, and I'm going to give it a little shot with water to start off with here. And this is a hake brush and a medium size. Now, I would say to be careful using these with acrylic. I have some older ones, I have plenty, but I like the softness of the brush. So I'm wetting this down, and you can kind of see my palette over here. I can have the whites and the blues, and basically the idea here is we're going to make a random sky, and we're going to blend it together. We'll go ahead and take a little bit of blue. This is just sort of making it up on the fly here. A little bit of white, and we got to work while this is. We're gonna make a little bit. You can make even a little bit of purple here. Put even a little bit there, like that. And just be very random about it until you get something you like without really fussing too much. Putting a little bit of pink in there. Make a little bit more. It's a little purpley. Let's keep going down the page. Just wet my brush down. You can always go over this with a little bit of white. Clean it off a little bit. Get a little bit more blue in there. I have this other blue in here. It makes like a light, see, look at. Just a very, very light. We could have the clouds getting smaller as they come down here. Going more for the random. I like to add a little bit of pink in there too, of some sort. Now, what I would do at this point is really wash the brush, get it very, very clean, and then wipe it off. I have another towel off camera here, but I'm just drying it really quite a bit, so there's really no water on this thing. But you could also have a second brush there that you can use, like a drier brush. And basically we're going to blend. Maybe work the lighter colors first. Just kind of tap and move. Blending things as you go. I always really like doing skies, but they're always a challenge. Now the idea is when you get to something that you like, put a little yellow in there, and we'll be like a little bit of light coming through there. A little bit more light on top. And that looks like some sunlight on top of the clouds. You can put a little bit more white in there. Again, doing a little blending. Tapping and moving, I find, works really well. Wiping off the excess. And you could leave it like this, and then the next step would be to sort of do like since this is a skyscape, we would want to do, let's say we're going to do, let's get some yellowy green color here. And this is going to be sort of a field here or something like that. Grab a little bit of, this green here is called Jenkins green. Sort of a little field out this way. And then let's take and make some purple color. And let's put a little bit of a mountain back in here. And then I like to take different brushes, like different brushes that have different like tips on them. Like if I take this brush and I dip it in the paint, little green, little Payne's gray, and I can make foliage very easily. Just like that. And just tap in, we could tap in a lot of different colors here. Making some different grasses. Tap in even a little bit of white with that and make a little bit of a highlight color, or even go into like a little bit of brown. See, and we'll come up with this sort of brown. There's some greens and some browns. This can even be a little yellow here. When you put the blue in, or the white in, rather. Grab a little bit of white on here and sort of just blend that in. A little bit more white on the... And you start to see this become a varied just to vary your colors, and it'll make it look a little more realistic. And then again, you look back at your sky and wonder if that's, you know, is that adding to the ambiance of the piece. Just covering up a little bit of the top of the paper here. You start to think, well, I could do a little bit more. I'll add a little blue in here. And that might be a little too much. But you always got to kind of blend these things. Just a little light blue in there sometimes can give you a little, just a little effect. Just to vary up that sky a little bit. And just put a little bit of life in there, even in here. Well, I just messed up that mountain, didn't I? Well, still have purple over here. I don't know if you can see this on the camera here, but there was a little... Sometimes it's good when these things happen because we can fix them. A little more red. That will work. Matter of fact, we can make this a little bit bigger. And see, it's all good. And then we could take even a little You could use a fan brush, or even I got this brush here, and we can grab some green and blue. And we could even just dot some very distant things going on in the back there. That's a little too big. Now let's get a look at see what this will look like with a mat on it. Right now it's still pretty wet, so I don't want to lay a good mat on there. Let's take and put this, I have a board here. This is what I would call my finishing board. I will slide this into view and adjust the camera. And as you can see, we could probably do some more blending. Well, this is still wet. Maybe we'll just put a little something going on here. I don't want to do too much because you will ruin it. I'm going to wipe off that little excess there and just kind of blend this in. Use my finger a little bit. Really just want that randomness. Over here, maybe we could do a little bit of blending. It's like a hard edge there. I kind of like the way that purple's coming in there. And I'd say to leave it like that. There's a couple little things that I could probably, like this here, stand out to me. I could put a little bit more around here. Just kind of get that little distant mountain effect going on there. Maybe it's a little misty along the base of that mountain. But the main thing was to try to do like a cool sky. So let's go ahead and see how this is gonna look, even though it's not dry yet. Grab these are the mats that I use. And when it dries, I'll pop in a couple of birds with my Micron pen. See, this is already drying. We got some interesting things going on here with a little bit of light. The purple, I wouldn't have minded a little bit more of that. We got some light blue here going on. That's still a little bit wet. And in here, we probably could have maybe even this little edge here, like this blue here, or this yellow. This is a little strong here, but other than that, I think we're good. I got a little too much glare on the lighting. Need some better lighting. Always fighting the lighting. And, you know, you could do little minor things in here, but I'd say at this point, I'd probably not do too much more. Again, these are just quickie little things. See, we could tap in some little things, make it look very distant. Whoop, that's a little strong down there. See, unlike watercolor, we can correct things and touch things on the fly. Maybe even this would look better if we had a little, this almost looks like it's sitting in the middle of water here. So let's see, I need a little bit more yellow here. I'm going to take and brighten this up a little bit. Take a little bit of this other yellow here. See, now it's looking a little more grassy back in here. It looks a little bit more, it looked like it was sitting in the middle of water almost. A little too bright maybe now. Always gotta blend so it looks natural. I wouldn't mind a little something going on right here. Just very lightly touching that in there. See, so it looks like there's stuff back there. See, so we have these trees. It looks like there's stuff back there. You can even put like a foreground element in here if you wanted to really push everything back. But again, I'm mostly doing this for the skyscape. We could even highlight a few things, like take a little yellow and just create a little interest. Again, blending that. It looks like there's something brighter here, just to kind of offset some of the, break this up a little bit. You can even scratch in some rocks. I don't have a card next to me. I do have the end of my paint tube. And if all else fails, we can take and some Payne's gray mixed with a little brown on both sides of my brush, and then with a little yellow ochre on that side of the brush. Let's see if I can do this correctly. And we can put in, that needs a little more yellow ochre or something on that side. I'm not really getting that highlight that I want. A little bit more. Just to put a few little rocks in there. I got a lot of paint on there now. This is just some Payne's gray underneath. Just a couple little rocks to sort of break up. And again, blending this. And that, I went too far with that. We'll just grab a little bit of green or something and sort of cover that up. Put in some, see, now you got some, look at that little break up there, that little interest. That does it, that does it. Again, even still on this side, if you want to put a little, just a little bit of brown, just to sort of make some contrast between that and, again, we'll go back to this little brush here. I love using this. This is a chip brush for blending. And then I'll go back to what I was doing before, which was the end of this paint tube, and just creating some texture in there. If you can see that. See the little texture? Not much. But it looks like there's something going on there. And then we'll blend a little bit here. Grab a little bit of, just grab a little bit of green color here. Put a little white, a little green. See just that little, just those little marks there. See what a difference that makes? And so you have this distant mountain here. Now I bet you, let's see, just to show you how fast this dries. This is already pretty dry up here. A few more minutes I'll be able to make a couple of birds with the pen. As long as I have this on here, take a little of this green, just kind of finish this. I want to go edge to edge on my paper. I don't like using tape. Really don't like using tape. We'll zoom this back out again. And I'll try to zoom in on this sky. Maybe zoom in just a little bit. And let's look at it one more time. Kind of move this around a little bit. It helps to crop a little bit. Like if you say, okay, I like the bottom better, or you want to move this up. But I think we have a neat enough sky. I'm not going to do any more. This is some sky practice in acrylic on paper, acid-free paper. And I thank you for watching, and good luck on your paintings. Any questions, leave them in the comment. Don't forget to subscribe so you keep up to all the videos that I put out. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.